Welcome to another RSR. Tonight we are making our 2023 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League predictions because the tournament starts tomorrow night. The round of 16 start tomorrow night, less than 24 hours away. 3 matches on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday, and 2 on Thursday. Overall, of course, I'm only covering 2, 2, and 2, so 2 of them won't get covered this week, and then one of those matches will get in the lineup for next week. But with that being said, you'll see how that plays out as things play out. But right now, let's make the predictions from round of 16-1 to round of 16-8, then quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. You'll know who I think makes a journey and who goes home pretty quickly. With that being said, we'll start with round of 16-1, Austin FC of the USA versus Violet AC of Haiti, the Caribbean Club Championship winner. Austin FC, of course, the best team in MLS that already had not qualified to CCL through the standings as a US team. Austin FC versus Violet, I can tell you that this game pretty much looks very simple. Second time a Haitian team gets to play in the tournament in 3 years, of course. In the past 3 years, of course. Arcaí played in 21, got slapped by Cruz Azul, especially in that second leg. That first leg was a little bit surprising that it wasn't a double slapping. Then, of course, Cavalli could not play the Revolution last year, so the Revolution got a bye of the quarterfinals and proceeded to blow it to Pumas. But Violet can play. They have their visas. They signed some players that are not Haitian to play the leg in the USA pretty much. So if there's a lot of rotation in the second leg, I wouldn't be shocked, but I still don't think it helps them beat Austin. Austin FC, of course, did beat Montreal, but they lost to St. Louis 3-2. They're okay right now. They're not at their peak. They did get to the Western Conference Final last year. And honestly, I still like Driussi. I still like Rigoni. Zardes being there is a little bit weird, but we'll see how it plays out. They still have a great team. They still got Stuver in goal. They still got Alex Ring. Austin is still a great team. They're still a great team, and they should easily beat Violet. I don't think I really have to explain this one. I think Austin easily gets this one done and goes on to the quarterfinals. Austin beats Violet. Hook, line, sinker. I don't think I'm covering either leg, and honestly, I don't think it needs to be besides prediction and recap. It's pretty obvious. Still watching. Of course, I need to, but you know what it is. Then, round of 16-2, we got Club Leon in Mexico versus Tauro FC. Club Leon made it by being a Apertura finalist against Atlas and losing in 2021. Leon, they should win again. Now, Francisco Perlo was coaching Tauro when they were making their CONCACAF League run to get into the tournament as the second best losing quarterfinalist. They got in. Perlo had them playing pretty well. Has had some big upsets in the CCL before. CCL legend, urban legend, Omar Brownie, playing in the tournament as well. He is playing for Tauro now. He's back playing. So there you go. Leon, though, they're not great right now. Leon is not great right now. They've sort of fallen off. They've gone through some hard times since that final appearance after bringing in Olan and getting rid of Ambris. But for me, I do believe that Leon should be able to handle Tauro. It may be harder than you expect, but again, maybe like that Guastatoya tie last year, they should be able to win the tie. pretty much easily. I wouldn't say completely easily, but they should be able to get it done. So I have Leon going through. They still have the usual suspects on the pitch. So, yeah, I think it should be pretty easy for Leon. They go back to the quarterfinals for the second straight year. Good for them. Next up, round of 16-3, Orlando City SC versus Tigres UANL. Orlando City made it by winning the U.S. Open Cup. Tigres made it by being the best aggregate team in Liga MX's table because of Atlas making both finals and winning the Bicampeonato as it stood. But Tigres made it because of their great record on paper, on the table. And Orlando made it, of course, winning Open Cup. Now, Orlando signed Ojeda. They did a lot this offseason. They had a very low-key offseason, but they're, I wouldn't say playing well right now, but they don't look horrible. They're starting to get things together. But in the end, I like what I see from Orlando. I like the possibilities that they're building. And honestly, this tie will be alive for 2 legs. It will go both weeks. This tie will not be over in El Volcan. No. Orlando will get this tie to Exploria Stadium and have a chance at home. Why? Because I do think Pedro Gallese, who stayed, is going to have a damn good game in the first leg. He has to have a good game, and I think he will. Tigres right now, it looks questionable, their team. They don't look great. They don't look bad. They're mid after losing Diego Coca. They have won games by the skin of their teeth. They've lost one. They've drawn a couple since Coca has left. But they've not been convincing. But Orlando hasn't been convincing either. Gignac, this sort of feels like at some point Gignac is going to break out and be his old self. Or be CCL Gignac. And I think that's what's going to win this tie. He's going to have a great half at some point in this game, in this tie, and that puts Tigres through. I like Orlando's chances a lot more than I did 3 months ago or when this draw was made. After looking at their offseason, but still for me, personally, I like Tigres. Slightly. There's going to be a moment of brilliance that breaks the back of Orlando and gives Tigres the win. And that's the way I see it. Match 4, round of 16-4, you got Pachuca. CF Pachuca versus FC Motagua. Pachuca, of course, making the tournament by being the runners-up of the 2022 Clausura and Liga MX. Of course, Motagua made it by being a semifinalist in the CONCACAF League, the final CONCACAF League last fall. Pachuca versus Motagua. Pachuca's on a roll right now. I like Motagua. I think they play a good style of football. But again, Motagua got a really tough draw. They're playing a really, really, really good Pachuca team who are amazing right now. And Pachuca are at a level that is unquestionably the best they've been for a while. So for me, I think this is a pretty easy call. Pachuca will win. Pachuca will win against Motagua. And I do believe that Pachuca has the chance to go deep into this tournament. Easily go deep into this tournament. Then, round of 16-5, you got Vancouver Whitecaps FC versus Real España. Vancouver Whitecaps won the Canadian Championship on a penalty shootout against Toronto FC. Real España were the best losing quarterfinal. No, they were a semifinalist. They were a semifinalist in CONCACAF League. Alianza was the best losing quarterfinalist. My bad. But Real España were a semifinalist. They made a great run in CONCACAF League last year. Came off the page, played some great ties. and had a little bit of a Cinderella story. And that chapter ended, of course, in the semifinals, but there's still an epilogue to be written. At the very least, in this Champions League, there's an epilogue to be written. And it's going to be written against Vancouver Whitecaps. Because to me, Vancouver, just look what they've done the past 2 weeks. They've had 1-0 leads. They've blown those leads. They have blown those leads and lost both those games. Vancouver is building a good squad, but I don't think they have the experience. I don't think anybody on this squad really has the experience who have experienced CCL to show that they have the experience that is needed to start the tournament and win matches. And right now, you look at Vancouver and they've had 2 horrible MLS results. Yes, and they took those games pretty seriously. At home, 1 at the home, I think 1 away. But they've had 2 bad results. For me, personally, I don't see why this will be any different. Yes. I mean, RSL's mid. I'd say Real España could challenge them at any moment. So for me, personally, I think Real España wins this match against Vancouver, this tie. First leg, they do enough to tie it up. At the very least, if it's a scoreless draw or a scoring draw, well, guess what? That gives you away goals. And guess what? Yes, the first leg is being hosted at BC Place. They reversed the order. I have no idea why. It's sort of an open secret. I don't know why. But the second leg is in Honduras. So, Real España has that advantage of having the home leg second. And away goals count. And you know what? I think Real España is going to get a 1-1 draw in Vancouver. Probably late. Probably scrappy. And then they're going to win at home. And go on to the quarterfinals. And Vancouver gets dumped. Unceremoniously from this tournament. Next up, round of 16-6. You got Los Angeles FC, the MLS Cup champions, versus El Alajuelense, the CONCACAF League runner-ups. And if LAFC did not play so well over the weekend, I would have said LAFC's got some tough times ahead against El Alajuelense. But I do believe that LAFC will win this tie. They played damn well against Portland, especially in that first half. I think they let their guard down a little bit, and Portland was like, we got to get this back. And they took a lot of players off to keep them fresh for Alajuelense. And they basically just got owned. They basically just got, oh, hey, guess what? It was 3-2. It wasn't a draw. It was still a win. But if we go by that first half, LAFC have really picked up where they left off. Alajuelense is a good team. I think they're talented. I think they're great. But LAFC is better. LAFC's got talent all across the pitch. They've got some expensive players. Of course they're going to win. I don't think they're going to screw it up. LAFC goes on to beat Alajuelense and go on to the quarterfinals. Next up, you have Atlas versus Olympia. Atlas versus Olympia. Atlas, of course, the Bicampeonato. They've won both Liga MX finals this past 21-22 season. Olympia won the CONCACAF League. I like what I see from both sides of the encounter. Or I like what I see from Olympia. But sadly enough, Atlas sucks right now. Atlas is mid. They've only picked up 22 points in this 22-23 season. So for me, personally, Olympia is good. A very good team. And Atlas is questionable. They're very questionable. And they suck right now. And Olympia is going to have a great home leg. And I think they'll do enough in Estadio Jalisco to win the tie. Olympia goes and beats Atlas and knocks them out of the tournament. unceremoniously as well. And then in round of 16, match 8, you got Philadelphia Union versus Alianza FC. Alianza FC, of course, the best losing quarterfinalist in the final CONCACAF League. Philadelphia Union, the Eastern Conference, top of the table in the MLS regular season. The opposite conference winner to the Supporters Shield winner in the regular season. Philadelphia Union also made the MLS Cup final, lost on penalties. Not that that matters for qualification purposes. But the two best teams in the league face each other in MLS Cup final. Philly lost, but they're out with a vengeance. They beat the hell out of the Crew in week 1. They did lose to Miami in week 2. They had a little bit of a blinder, a bad game. But against Alianza, to me, that still doesn't really ring alarm bells because Alianza, yes, they've got some good players. They got Zelaya. They got Larin back, Alexander Larin. But Philly has Joaquin Torres, Daniel Gazdag. They still brought back their whole MLS Cup squad and brought in Joaquin Torres. That's a damn good side. They should not have any problems winning this tie. Not by a long shot. Philadelphia should rip Alianza apart 7 ways to Sunday, frankly. So for me, I got Philadelphia beating Alianza and going on to the quarterfinals, which means the quarterfinals I have are Austin FC versus Club Leon, Tigres versus Pachuca, LAFC versus Real España, and Olympia versus Philadelphia Union. 2 big upsets on the right side of the bracket, which clears the path for the MLS teams to get to the final once again in CCL. But again, we'll get into those quarterfinals in a bit. Let's get to them. Start with quarterfinal 1. Austin FC versus Club Leon. Austin FC versus Club Leon, I would say by the time the ties are played in early April, Austin's going to be in a way better spot than Leon is. Austin, I think they're going to be a lot hotter in a month time. They're going to be much better than they are right now. They're going to be hitting more of a stride. And for me, in early March, I really think that Austin's going to be hitting a stride. Leon, they'll still be mid. They'll still be a questionable team. They'll still have the usual suspects, but the coaching isn't there. The play just isn't really coming off. They're okay. They're not great. They're not bad. They're just there. They've fallen off a bit. And for me, Austin's going to be better. And especially at Q2 Stadium, that atmosphere, I think they'll find a way, whether it's the first leg and they take a strong start, or they have to go back home and play the second leg. They're going to do what they have to do then. But either way, I think it's favorable for Austin. Austin goes on to the semifinals. Then, quarterfinal 2, we got Tigres versus Pachuca. Right now, Pachuca's the better team. They're flying. Tigres, they may be higher in the table, but they're going to falter at some point. They are going to falter at some point. And that's why I say Tigres will lose to Pachuca. Pachuca are overall better right now. They got better coaching. They got a better team. They got a better group. They got better belief. Pachuca will beat Tigres to go on to the semifinals. I believe it. Tigres, I think this is Pachuca's tournament to lose, if I'm being honest. I'll give you that right now. Quarterfinal 3, Real España versus LAFC. LAFC should easily walk this over. I shouldn't say easily, but Real España is the weakest team left in the tournament out of all 8, if this was to pass. Just because you beat Vancouver don't mean you're going to beat the MLS champions. Yeah, it's a nice little addendum to the Cinderella story you had in CONCACAF League, but it's going to fully get ended and squashed by LAFC. It is. It is. I don't even think they need Vela to do it. I think Quadro Opoku could do it just fine. And Buke, the new Croatian winger. Trust me. They don't probably even need Vela for that, which may help LAFC down the road. Then you got Olympia, CD Olympia versus Philadelphia Union in the final quarterfinal. Olympia versus Philadelphia. This one will actually be pretty interesting. I think so. But again, Philly's a damn good team. They're a tight-knit, strong team. And I like what I see, especially after in week 1. And Philly should easily beat Olympia if they keep playing like they are. Philly should beat Olympia pretty quickly, pretty easily. I think it'll be a bit tough. There will be moments where Olympia looks like they can push through and find a way, especially if the first leg is in Honduras. But, again, I think Philly finds a way to get it done. It won't be a walkover, but it is a clearer path than playing Atlas, even though Atlas sucks right now. I think Philly's in a really good spot either way, but I'd rather play Olympia anyway if I was Philly. So our 2 semifinals are Austin versus Pachuca, LAFC versus Philly, 1 Mexican team, 3 MLS sides. And this time, we will have, Austin versus Pachuca, semifinal 1. Austin versus Pachuca, I think Pachuca's just too good for Austin. Yeah, Austin played Violette, did what they had to do, played Leon, beat them, but Pachuca's a whole nother level. And it's good for Leagues Cup, it's good for their experience going into that, to play Pachuca over 2 legs, but late April, early May, I'm sorry, but Pachuca is just way too good, unless they're focusing on Liguilla, which may make it easier. To me, I believe that Pachuca are going to not beat Austin too bad, but they are definitely going to be the better team by far as that tie goes on. Pachuca goes to the final. Then you got LAFC versus Philadelphia Union, a 2-legged rematch of the MLS Cup final in 2022. And I think Philly's the better team right now. I think they get revenge. I think they get some revenge over LAFC. I think Philly are the stronger team. They want revenge, and they got an opportunity. They're going to take it. Jim Curtin wants all the smoke. LAFC don't know what's going to hit them. I think Philly right now is better. They still got their whole team, plus Joaquin Torres. LAFC is going through a little bit of not a complete rebuild, but a reloading. But they got to get together and build this. And I believe that Philly will take advantage of that and go to the final and make another MLS Liga MX final for the 2nd straight year happen. Which means we got CF Pachuca versus Philadelphia Union in the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League final 2023, May 31st and June 4th. A 2-legged final. And for me, this is a hard one. I like Philly. I like Pachuca. I think Pachuca's flying right now. I think Philly's a damn good team, and they'll probably be flying by the time that tie hits. But for me right now, I think Pachuca is the better team. I think they are the more complete team. I think Almada's a better coach than Curtin. I really do. Slightly. It's slightly. And I'd love to see Philly win. I really would. But I think Pachuca's just got it. I think their team is going to cause Philly a lot of problems. I think they are set up very well to cause Philly problems. And there's going to be a moment where this match will be tight. It's not going to be Philly's beaten after leg 1 or even halfway through leg 2. Every minute is going to count in this 2-legged tie. Every minute of the 180, maybe more, will count. And let me tell you that it's not going to be that Philly didn't bring everything they could into this match. They will bring everything. But Pachuca will find their moment. They will find a crack on that shield to expose. And they will win by the skin of their teeth. I got Pachuca winning the CONCACAF Champions League by the skin of their teeth over the Philadelphia Union. Philly's going to give them a scare. It's going to be tight. Philly's going to give them a scare, and I'd love to see MLS keep their hands on CCL for a second straight year. But I think, again, it will go back into Mexican hands by the skin of their teeth. Pachuca wins. Prove me wrong, Philly. Not completely, but slightly. Prove me right on the fact you'll keep it close, but prove me wrong that you win. But Pachuca, I think they win the tournament. As I said, this is Pachuca's tournament to lose. And honestly, I think they win. Barely, but they win. With that being said, if you liked this video, these predictions, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification once subscribed, send super chats on the live streams, comment on this video, put us to playlist, share it with friends and family, all that great stuff. I shall see you tomorrow for a live watch-along of Philadelphia Union, Olympia versus Philadelphia Union, and a live and RSR of Orlando City versus Tigres. That is tomorrow, right? But 2 lives, 1 review. I'll see you then. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.